what I wanted to do for this section was we've explored Mesotopia, right? We created it oh so long ago, about 2 months-ish ago. And this has been the home to various adventures, right? We had the Meso Masquerade adventure here. A Candor Attitude up here. Healing Words was up here in Aslandia. Then we had Fallfire Fighting over here in the Fallfire Plains. We had then our first guest DM, Macabre Derek, formed an adventure down here for Ukt, and he called it the Lurking Legacy. Then Ivalon was another guest DM over here for Lacuna, and made I ended up nicknaming the adventure Lacuna Magica, or Dracana. I'm sorry, Lacuna Dracana, and that included these islands here. So we've taken a tour, right? The whole region was brought up in the campaign 0, called Thugs and Kisses. And then almost every week thereafter, we focus on a particular region. Well, now, as we've had this looming threat since day one of this map of this external empire invading. In fact, as we were telling our stories, we kind of indicated even why they're coming back. This empire thinks that, or knows, that this is its indigenous home, and it wants to come back and reclaim its territory. Hey, look at that. Well, Death Count gets a bonus. Death Count, the next time you run a Tomb, Underdark, or Epic, if you win, you'll have your experience points doubled, because you've won the castle in that realm. But it has to be in the difficult section of things. And I figured, you know what? If we've based Mesotopia on the Mediterranean region, let's take a look around. And especially after having a wonderful conversation in the wee hours of the morning in our last broadcast, we had a good amount of European followers, of community members. And if we were basing Mesotopia here, along Southern Europe and Northern Africa, where would we have this invading force come from? Well, if they were primarily going to be coming in from Aslandia up here, with many of them coming along the coast over here. Oh, 1 and 1. Delcorin, did you still have a bounty for people who rolled double ones? Wow, that's... So, Death Count, you're like super dead. I don't know if we can even resurrect you. There may be nothing left. So anyway, if we're saying that there are ships, like trading ships of the Shadahar Empire who do come in here, and that there are privateers, especially coming up from Lacuna, well, what could that represent? Right? So we have, like, kind of if we cut Spain off right here, and this was open sea, you're getting Lacuna down here, and you're getting Candor up here in France. And then we have Mesomasca, which is kind of like an Italy-Spain combined on Cyprus, or on, I'm sorry. That's Sicily. I want to make sure I'm getting my islands correct. I think Cyprus is the... Corsica is the one above it up here. Anyway, you get what I'm saying? So it's here, and it's kind of taking the place as if there was a Spain right here on the entrance in. So that means that we have some northern empire up here that is coming down and coming into the Mesotopia region right about here, and they want to invade in from the northeast. It's changed, so not to sound rude, the pronunciation is a hard G and silent U. I.e. Gensel with a G as in good. Jake, okay, so Jake Gensel. It's not rude at all. Jake Gensel. All right, I will do my best. And so in looking at it, well, what type of terrain, what type of cultures could we get coming in from here? Now, we have, I mean, if we want them to be somewhat close by, you know, we have Romania and the Ukraine here. Here's the Carpathian Mountains, and so a lot of Eastern European. We could continue going up, and we get into Belarus, Lithuania. We border into Russia. If we really want this this invading force to have ships that can come down this way, right? And also have a fleet that can go by land down this way. I was thinking maybe something more along the lines of Finland, Sweden, something up here. Maybe even a splash over into the Russian Federation. So for the map that I wanted to make, we might be having our party go out and try and foil the invading force. You know, the campaign will probably focus on hit and run tactics. Think almost like Valkyria Chronicles. Are you all familiar with Valkyria Chronicles? Hey, there you go, lady. You got it. You got the Knoll pack. Oh, as the dwarven monk, you're the drunken boxer. Dorgrim, I have it. I really need to play it. Well, I was thinking, Dorgrim, that we could base our campaign this week on the concept of Valkyria Chronicles. Jake, that's fine. I can just go by Jake. And Dorgrim, it's an excellent game. Don't let anyone spoil it for you, though. There could be spoilers. So anyway, taking this as inspiration, we can see a lot of where there are mountainous or arid regions. You can see that there are, like larger forest areas. Where it's maybe a little bit more barren for one reason or another. I mean, here we have the Ural Mountains. So if we come back to Sarah, hello, salute. We're going to make this region, but it's going to occupy a corner, and we're going to expand to the north and to the east. And we are going to start tickling into the Empire's lands themselves. Now, our party isn't going to go fully in there. Maybe that's going to be another campaign for later. But this is going to be a way to gauge the invasion forces and maybe do hit and run tactics to those invading forces. So we will travel a little bit around Mesotopia at first. And then we're going to leave. And by ship, by land, or something along those lines, we're going to start heading up to be able to skirmish with the initial vanguard forces. And so here we have good old MS Paint open. If we are... I don't need two of those open. Now, if we wanted to, we could go back into our stories and take a look at healing words took place in Aslandia. And this was our extended view of Aslandia. I mean, it wasn't... it was extended, but we still focused primarily down here, because outside, when we were making that map, this was all desert up here in the upper area. Or if we chose, we could even take that map, and we could combine it with Kandor, and we can get an idea of what is going on. That kind of overlays like such. Right? So here's a horn that comes around. And then down here is going to be Mesomasca. So if we were to open all of our individual maps, we would have a larger map of the Mesotopia region. Oh, Dark Wolf, are you out there? Thank you. So comparing Mesotopia here to Europe, we're going to build up and over. So really, this is going to reflect let's open up Lacuna. So Lacuna kind of comes up and around here. Right? So here's kind of the mountain lump. And you see how we only just showed the bit of it that was rising up. A lot of it still can extend it around, and this would dip further south. This is sort of northern Africa going on here. Aha. So Creeper, if you do ! Random dungeon and you win, you'll get double the experience points. But really what we're going to be concerned with is here and up. Really the top half. If you attack normally, it's ! 1d20. You don't need to type in roll. It's just ! 1d20. And you fall on your sword and die. You were so concerned by the alarm. All right, we are drawing with a pencil. We have our mountain color, because we're going to be starting down here. We have a little bit of the mountain kind of coming down and going up. Now this is going to continue for quite a ways, because as we have discovered, this is where two tectonic plates are smushing together. That is the scientific term for it. fact, these can even start coming over. Now we have a bit of a reference point. In fact, we can go back and we can check in on Candor. See how they kind of started to branch out here, and they would go up and around. There we go. Rolling a 3-sided die, and you get a 3. Bye, creeper. Now that we have this as a reference, we can start filling in some of the parts of Mesotopia and going beyond. So really, Lacuna sits pretty far down. And kind of comes around on a horn like this and scrolls up. And really, this is Lacuna right here. Now, we can ask what exists above Lacuna. We didn't really explore that. And so if we go over here and we snap over, if we kind of cut off a lot of Spain here and that this was gone, we're coming up over we're coming along the coast of France and the United Kingdom. Only in this case, maybe instead of an island, there's a mountain, or even the mountain can act as the span. If we want to make another island out here, and then like this is the sea, and it comes up this way. But the sea can also hug around this area here and start heading to the northeast as well. Well, if someone wants to go on an adventure, Creeper's soul is naked and stuck in somewhere. So we can have this continue coming up, and start coming back in this way. And there's even kind of an island coming off this. There we go. All right. And remember, Lacuna is like this bottom third or half, to be generous. If we look over on the other side of the mountain, this is where we come into Aslandia. And a lot of this was desert. And so this bump up here is almost like geographically, it could be this bump right here. Like we could modify the mountain to kind of bump it out a little bit here. But as Landia starts, almost if we were to continue Candor to the east. And then, of course, it curves around here into the fall fire plain. And that kind of pinches up a little bit up here. There we go. There we go. And this kind of wasteland area, like very arid. It's not, it doesn't have to be wasteland, but this comes up and really just sort of hugs over here. This branches off, and we get a lot more of this arid land along the coast. And this really kind of expands, thins out, and grows along this route. Going around, there we go. And there is a split. And we'll get to actually continue this now. There we go. It's all coming together. We can continue this. Kind of a little nation, little island, even if it's not developed, is tucked away in here. Now, if we flip over and we're looking at the map of Europe here, if we're coming up and away, we're getting more of this very kind of craggy coastline coming up this way. And we're not going to map the whole empire, just a little bit of it. In fact, right now, we can even fill in. There we go. All coming together. So Aslandia really just sort of like, it occupies this big chunk here, but there's not too much beyond that. And we can fill in what we'd like. Oh, Lacuna does kind of come up a little bit, and is a bit of a whoops. It's a bit of a pinch. There we go. Very slight. Very slight presence. See, the reason they can run privateers against the empires, they're so far south. They're still a part of Mesotopia, but they don't have to worry about the immediate ramifications. So now we're drawing in our desert. Our arid, our very, very arid lands extend for a very long ways. In fact, this is why the empire we were discussing when we were creating it, it's inconvenient, but it's empty. So if you can manage to get your army across the desert, there's not going to be fortresses there to really stop you. Kendall proportions. No one would ever misuse a scroll of alter self in some terribly lewd manner, especially not strangers in need of clothing. especially. Well, you can learn a lot about crushing those countries coming up here, King. So we're going to have our desert look like a lot of the interior, kind of like the open plains, the more arid regions here. You know, we have northern Italy. We're going into Slovakia, Romania, etc. And we can introduce some more mountains as well. That can be like the Ural Mountains, kind of along here. Whoops, that is the wrong color. Maybe something happened here too. Maybe there was some kind of a sister comet that fell, or I don't know, it could be a great caldera or something along those lines. Something happened here, though. In fact, maybe this is quite mountainous. Very alpine. So actually we have a big old crater right here. The weather's blowing in this way. Delcorin does make it in with the 15 bits and gets Stream Boss. Nice. Yep, Delcorin, you got there. Very nice, Delcorin. That was very much a committal 15 at that. All right, we're about to get a big blob of yellow as a heads up. Big blob of yellow. There we go. All right, now there's a lot of green here, a lot of forests, a lot of places where there is precipitation. So I do want to make sure that we're reflecting that in here as well. It's not all just harsh mountains and desert climate. we're going to be going out of Aslandia, which is this like this strip right here, and we're going to be traveling up this way into the northern climates where the Empire is making their home. And as we were discussing at the time, while it is made up primarily of humans and tieflings, they seem to have built in old dwarven ruins. Dwarves might make up a portion of the population, maybe not a statistical, like a majority of the minority. But I do believe that we should include a lot of hillsides and mountains to help showcase that. Creeper, you're getting bullied. Did you say please no bully? And Lady, oh nice, Lady Atara won. Arachnocognito, I still like the name. Welcome back. Lady Atara did win against the Null Pack. Yeah, she has advantage. Delcorin shrugs with indifference despite giving a committal 15 bits. Oh, excellent. Excellent, Cognito. And in fact, we can even give some little hints over here too. Maybe there's just a few more things. Maybe some islands, etc. Right? We're indicating to our players that there's more, that they will probably not see this campaign. And if they want to know more about what's going on, they better play. It's an incentive. Lacuna had a little bit of forest there. Alright, so that was all that was left there. Then we had... that was Lacuna. Let's go back to Healing Words. Aslandia did have a little bit of forested area going on. Hugging the mountains. Kind of like right before it started. There. And let's go back to Kandor Attitude. Kandor had a lot because they were getting a bunch of rain and the mountains were keeping it all in. In fact, there's probably even, if Kandor is contained, a lot of this up here could very well just be forest and wilderness. Maybe not unpopulated, but unexplored or something. Think about where the trees grow. Think about where the lay of the land is. You know, what is where and why. Alright, nothing really from Fallfire. And then we can come up here. And then we can put in great swaths of forest if we wish. You know, maybe just sort of grows on the interior in clumps. That one even goes up off the map a little bit. It'll hug the mountains for a little while. Come down. Maybe these are just like absolutely forested valleys. There we go. And maybe it's a little bit more, you know, it's arable land, but maybe it's not heavily forested. I mean, you could always put in like little, like, you know, little blurbs or something. Something hugging the mountain, or you can kind of just come over here, and maybe there's even a medium forest kind of living out on the side. A little blurb right there. A bosque, if you will, if you like the Spanish name for it. And so we know now. Whoops. Oh, I closed the... So our invading empire is going to come up here from, you know, maybe a little bit of in real life Russia, or a lot of our, you know, our Scandinavian area up here. Maybe not nuclear fallout. There is a big sinkhole. That's the black splotch, Lady Atara. And there are plagues that are breaking out in Mesotopia. And so that sort of stuff will come out. You're enjoying the chat is colorful again. Oh, because people's names are differentiating. Well, yes, things like tar pits and other landmarks we can sprinkle in throughout the way too, lady. Now, this also means that we can go through and we can put in all the major rivers and everything. I'm not going to worry about that right now for what we're doing. I want to get the land masses intact. We know there has to be water because there is abundant life in all these other locations. And so we put in what looks colorful, what looks good, and we'll make water go to it with our, you know, we're in Minecraft creative mode right now. Oh, no, we'll make it interesting, lady. Right now, I just want a quick view of where generally the landscape will take place. Then we can zoom in and explore individual features along the way. So as the party leaves Mesotopia, which is generally... Mesotopia itself is about like this for political boundaries. I mean, this might come out and hug the mountains or something. And I mean, you can argue that you know, actually, because Mesotopia just has a little claim off the coast here. So most of the map here isn't what we've explored, because the point of the campaign is we want to leave this place and we want our party to, by sea or by land, head out and meet this invading force from this empire that's coming from the north. And so what we'll do is we'll make a very broad map right now, lady, and then we will feature regional notable regional features along the way, because now that we're piloting the party and we're on the ground level or the sea level, we'll be able to see things like you know, we can make a cave that goes, you know, so this is like an English channel going through here. Maybe there's a big cave that allows passage through, but, you know, as the tides come and go, it's very harrowing. Maybe there's a lot of shipwrecks or something. You know, it's called like a blowout cave or something because a ship will wreck, and then, you know, when the tide changes, all the wreckage and bodies will just get blown out of the cave. Or you could take the safe way around and go, you know, or you can go longer and you can take the safer way. Yeah, hey Tin Cat, I didn't know that you had slipped out. Or were you kind of lurking because you were at work? Oh, the phone died. Gotcha. And it wouldn't even just be like a little cave either. Like this would be, you know, several ships can pass. It'll be like a sea arch out here that the wind and the waves and the tides have carved out. So we do know a couple things about the Empire. The Shadahar Empire is ruled by tieflings and humans. There is a young tiefling that has recently come to power, right as these talks of invasion are ramping up. Are swan boats? Hey, you know what? Maybe there actually are specialized boats. Or you have to do something like go through the Panama Canal and they have the mules on either side. Now, in this case, they're electrical mules. But maybe you actually have to be guided through the cave, and that there's people who live there who will take your ship safely through for a fee. Lady Atara will not take the safe way. And it's rather isolationist, living in dwarven mountain homes, and that's what led us to make a lot of the mountains continuing to spread north. There's probably not going to be too much civilization in Aslandia in the northern part here. Aslandia will claim to own it or rule it, but they functionally have no government or forces there. Now, there could be maybe two factions of people of some kind that live in this middle section here. And they would be a neutral territory between the Empire and Mesotopia. You know, maybe it's civilization, but it's not terribly advanced. Maybe it's just a bunch of nomads passing through. Like, there's nothing really to plunder or conquer or rule over. There's people there, but there's not great cities. It's not a cradle of civilization or the like. So if we do that, we can draw some political boundaries for these outlands. There's probably people here, and especially if they work in this cave system. There might even be some island people here, because we have to plot for our PCs to either go the sea route, and they can still encounter these people here, or they'll take the land route. Or if they really want, if they really super duper want, they can go the long way, maybe the safest way because they're on the other side of the mountains, but they can skirt all the way around here, and then you get like to the extreme outlands. I mean, there may not be anyone, or there could be indigenous tribes, or if we want to say that there's like beast tribes, like gnolls or something living out here instead of civilization, we can do that as well. A snake island? Well, maybe it could be a snake island. So broadly, what I'm going to do in order to breathe a little bit of life into these large regions themselves is we are going to make an entry kind of like this. So except here we have the Northeast Island region. In the DMG, it is called... let's see. Okay, here we go. Monuments. There we go. So we have the Northeast Island region up here. Then we have this kind of, I don't know, like coastal valley almost. Then we're going to have the Central Plains. And we can give this some kind of official names, like Lacuna or Mesomasca, etc. I'm indicating the geography right now. And then we have the Untamed West. East. This is the Northwest Island region. There we go. And we're making these notes not necessarily because we're going to force the PCs to encounter all of these cultures, but depending on where they go and what they decide to do, they might be able to learn more, garner allies, gather information, make some money, increase the reputation of their home country, something along those lines. Oh, yeah. Here we go. I don't know why it's derping. Anyway, that's an Eder cap. So yeah, this would act as guiding posts for us as DMs and as a player character. If we learn about the current calamity in the Northwest Island region and we want to do something to earn money, fame, allies, etc., we can help address it. That won't necessarily be the main focus of the campaign, though. Oh, Buddha! Buddha gets first blood on Delcorin. And Delcorin was the one who felled the mighty Defloof with 15 bits. Thank you very much, Buddha Belly. You're very welcome, Lady Atara. So let's go back here, and we are going to roll up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go to our dice roller, and we're going to be rolling 8 d20s at a time. They're going to act as placeholders, and then we'll interpret what they mean later. So let's roll them, roll them, roll them. Whoops. $18, 6, 15, 9, 2, 2, 8, 7. Roll it again. 8, 19, 16, 14, 6, 16, 16, 8. Well, a lot of high rolls. Next up, we have 16, 6, 10, 17, 13, 8, 3, and 7. And then lastly, we have 13, 12, 11, 18, 11, 18 again, 10, and 7. All right, now that we have this out of the way, we can interpret these numbers. We can populate, kind of like what you were talking about, Lady Atara. We can give a couple landmarks. Now, these are broader. Like, this is what these big regions are known for. This would be on the scale of saying that England is known for Stonehenge, right? Or France is known for the Eiffel Tower. These are big countries with a lot going on in them, but we're focusing on like one or two major things inside of them. Thank you for that sentiment, Tin Cat. Monument. What is in this Northwest Island region? 8 is a ruined or toppled obelisk. Ooh. And a 7 is the same. Maybe one on either side. Maybe they used to conduct some kind of magic or prayer. Oh, do I look... if I do look tired, I have been running around a lot. And it has been a little bit warmer weather. Though hopefully I don't look extremely tired. I actually didn't have my first meal until... I think I had my first meal of the day about 4 hours ago. And it was a big meal. I ate like a big thing of Thai food. So my body's just going like, oh, I gotta digest this all. Like, way to wake me up. I mean, I've been awake, but way to wake me up through digestion. Or rather, my body's like, oh, I need all the blood and oxygen and everything to digest. And so it might be having me look a little sleepy. I'm possibly the best streamer. Oh, thank you, Tin Cat. I do my best. I will never claim to be the best, but if you all think that, I won't stop you from saying it. I would hope though that there are many streamers out there who do take the time and consideration for you all as viewers and to explore the content being presented as well. In the Coastal Valley, we also have a 16. Ooh. A great stone arch. Well, there's one of those already. Funny how that lines up. And 8, there's also a ruined or toppled obelisk. In the Central Plains, faces carved into a mountainside or cliff. Well, it just so happens there are those. And also another ruined or toppled obelisk. Ooh, I wonder if we could work these obelisks in, right? We notice that they're everywhere, but they're all ruined or toppled. What do they mean? What do they do? Could we use these to help defend Mesotopia from this invading empire? Oh. Because, you know what? I'm going to Control C and then Control V. Look, number 7. Even in the Untamed East, there's one of these. I'm the most viewer-focused stream that you found. Well, thank you for saying so, Tin Cat. I mean, you all are the lifeblood of the channel. I appreciate it. What you bring to the table, even if you're a newbie to D&D or role-playing, is amazing. It's refreshing. It's engaging. You help me learn, which compels me to want to help you learn as well. And monument number 10. Ah, perhaps a clue if they go way out of their way. An intact statue of a person or deity. Ah. Well, for the central plains area is here. And there are definitely mountainsides to the west and to the east. Now let's scroll down, and while these are more mundane ruins, we have weird locales. Something maybe supernatural. Something that's mundane but has a reputation. Let's find out. In the Northwest Island region, their weird locale is 2. Ooh, a dead magic zone. Maybe the people that live there don't know what magic is or how it works. Talk about a culture shock, right? The Coastal Valley. It's number 16. There is a river ferry guided by a skeletal captain. Ooh, something happened. Is this getting your wheels turning? Now, we don't have things like rivers or lakes just yet, but, you know, there will be fresh water here. Something along those lines. And so, for some reason, or we could have this captain, maybe this captain is the one who ferries people, right? If there's a Great Stone Arch, maybe instead of the island here, maybe these people are claiming the arch. Maybe this skeletal captain is the only one who can navigate the waters underneath it. All we got to do is open ourselves up for what's out there, and we'll connect the dots. Believe in yourself. You have this. Ideas rush to mind because it is by your nature something that you do. You're programmed since birth to do this. Weird locale number 8 in the Central Plains. A battlefield where lingering fog occasionally assumes humanoid forms. Ooh. Playing out a big battle at some point in time. Maybe ghosts of conflicts past who are stuck in a vicious cycle. And lastly, weird locale number 18. A forest of petrified or awakened trees. Awakened means intelligent, possibly mobile. You want to come up and say hi to everyone? Come on. There we go. I've been attacked by a fuzzy slug. Hey, look. Everyone's over here. Look. Oh. Oh, look how beautiful you are. Oh, you're so pretty. All right, now we are going to scroll down a little bit further, and we are going to populate our region. He's laying on his side, and he has his feet braced against me, and his back is to the keyboard. Yeah, like Ents, lady. All right, our race relations in the Northwest Island region are number 18. The racial minority are refugees. What are the races? Oh, I don't know. We'll generate those. Don't worry about it. In this coastal valley, it's 8. There's harmony. In the central plains, it's 16. Racial majority are conquerors. And in the untamed east, such as anyone who lives there, the races are 13, tension or rivalry. All these broken monuments and possible battlegrounds makes me think maybe this isn't the main part of the empire, but possibly a relatively new conquered land. That could be very much something we can use for an idea too, Dark Wolf. Or maybe, what if those were protecting Mesomasca from the Empire? Hey, that's cat on the keyboard. And now that they've broken, the Empire can return back. We don't have to go with mine. We don't have to go. We're throwing ideas out here. We're creative people. Makes me think an ancient civilization. That very well could be. Yeah, and it could be very much larger. But for some reason, they couldn't get into Mesotopia. All right, now we're going to go to the ruler's status. In the Northwest Island region, it is number 6. It is a feared tyrant. In the coastal valley, it's 19. A religious leader. In the central plains, it is 6. A feared tyrant. And in the untamed east, it is 12. A mysterious, anonymous cabal. Now, the island region is it's notable for number 15. There is an important library or archive. Now, wouldn't that be something, right? If we have maybe more primitive people who don't know what magic is because they live in a dead magic zone, and yet they have some old library filled with magic books, but none of them can fully realize it. They just look at it like, oh, these are dumb little scribbles. Think about that. And it doesn't have to be magical. It could be mundane. It could be a museum. It could be like a nautical thing. It could be just think of all the different types of museums that are out there. Notable traits in the coastal valley is number 16. Ooh, this is interesting. So the worship of all gods is banned. All right. If that's the case, and we have a religious leader, how would you interpret this? If you are the DM, and you get this result, and you say, I'm going to challenge myself, I can work with anything because you can. If we have a religious leader, and all the races are living in harmony, would we count atheism as a religion? And so by not worshiping gods, people can't get into arguments over whose god is better at this or that? Would we count atheism as a religion itself? As some kind of a philosophy? Is this someone who, while you cannot worship external gods, is this a concept like a pharaoh who is supposedly an incarnated god walking among the people? And so you don't worship the sun and the sky, you worship the incarnation right here standing in front of you. Tin Cat thinks it's a major cult. Well, even if it's a cult and the worship of all gods is banned, how would we reconcile that, Tin Cat? Oh, there's an underground. Okay, so there's a movement. There are actually people you think living here who do worship gods, but they don't do so openly or publicly for fear of persecution. Now, the notable trait of the Central Plains is 10. It's destitute, run down. Well, it looks like there was a conquering going on, and the current ruler is a feared tyrant. Must have destroyed a lot of infrastructure. That would be a cool dynamic, Tin Cat. Notable traits 11. There's an awful smell somewhere. Now this is suggesting maybe tanneries or open sewers because it's a settlement. Where would the awful smell come from? Well, if this is the untamed East, and your weather blows from west to east, what if this is something like a tar pit, kind of like what Lady Atara was talking about? Or what if this is like it could be a tar pit, it could be like a graveyard of some kind. You know, we have a dragon graveyard for sure down by Mesomasca. Or what if there's some great, I don't know, what if there's something living in this bubbling murky, and as the wind blows from west to east, you know, you can just smell whatever is contained in this mountain almost all throughout the plains to the east. In that case, what would be living here? Or not living here? Or unliving here? Would this be a big swamp? Would it be a tar pit? Would it be... What would be producing an awful smell that would just drift across the landscape? You know, sulfur. Think about what smells bad. You know, you got poo. You got, like, dead things like fish. Mulch. So dead plants. What other process? Like sulfur, right? Sulfur can smell bad. So, ladies suggesting sulfur, the remains of the rotted ships. I'm not opposed to that idea, Tin Cat, but if that's the case, and the ships are crashing, going through the sea gate over here, how are the remains of the ships getting over here and rotting in the middle of the mountain to the east? And Lady Atara, if I didn't say it before, you're offering that you think it could be something like sulfur. Maybe some giant prehistoric skunks live there. And they're spraying everything all the time. King says it's a whale graveyard, and part of the year it's submerged in water and old whales go there to die. So, wait, are you saying that there's maybe some kind of a supernatural or some sort of like an undersea, almost like if the Underdark was a large saltwater something or another, that out in the ocean there like a tunnel going through here, and this is just like a big rotting whale graveyard or something? I mean, we can entertain all of these ideas. That this is a fantasy world. All right, next up, the island region is known for its number 9. Ooh. This could be interesting. For whatever reason, this is a dead magic zone. It has an important library or archive. So what if these people actually do study magic, and they practice and practice until they get very good, and then they leave the island, and they have this otherworldly power to them? Or what if we say it's something like it's a dead magic zone, not for all magic, but certain kinds? So what if arcane magic, or I don't know, how do I want to put this, like something like only pact magic works, and so this Northwest Island is a home for all kinds of warlocks, you know, or necromancy, if you want to call that dark, although honestly, you could call any discipline of wizardry dark. King says it's a mind flayer trick. They use the whales to get around, and when they get too old, they retire them by eating the meat and chucking the carcass at gnomes for fun. Oh, eating the brain? Whale brain would probably be quite an interesting feast for mind flayers. The coastal valley, it's known for its 14. Its education. Ooh, so what if they are they're very secular in some way? With the exception of whoever the leader is. And the leader is the recognized deity of the time. Almost like maybe like a weird elected representative. Or like a blank template upon which the populace presses its beliefs. And so the leader has to be religious for everyone else. Therefore, the people living in that area don't have to spend their time praying or doing anything else. They know that the leader's job is his job. He's elected to pray and sacrifice and conduct rituals. So that frees up everyone else from having to spend so much time doing it themselves. You think not knowing what's in the library sounds better? In fact, you know, if we say that dark magic exists here, what if we don't take it, well, we don't take it super literally, and we do things like give, you know, like the darkness spell or dark vision or Edward's black tentacles or hunger of Hadar. What if, because these people are saturated by this anti-magic, that they themselves produce anti-magic, almost like a beholder's central eye? And so to a wizard or a bard, that is dark magic, right? It's the absence of magic. It is anti-magic. And so these people who live on this island are so suffused by whatever power is here that they when they go out into the world, they have this anti-magic power, and so that is seen as a dark magic by people living outside of it. Yeah, like an anti-magic, or like a nullification. The Central Plains are known for 17. Political intrigue. Interesting. Racial majority are conquerors. It's ruled by a feared tyrant. It is destitute and rundown, but it's known for political intrigue. And the Untamed East is known for 18 powerful guilds. That means that for whatever nomadic tribes live out that way, maybe every tribe specializes in something. Hunting, gathering, cooking, basket weaving, some kind of a craft. And so instead of a guild per se, every tribe is very specialized to do one, maybe two things. And then they'll get together and they will trade along those lines. There is a lot of that here in the United States. You could find it anywhere you look, honestly, lady. And finally, our current calamities. What's happening in our island region? Current calamity 2. A new cult seeks converts. The current calamity in the coastal valley is 6. Aha, a plague or famine sparks riots. The current calamity in the Central Plains is 13. Undead are stirring in cemeteries. And finally, in the Untamed East, the current calamity is 11. Economic depression. Trade is disrupted. What is keeping the different clans from getting together in trading with each other. Can the PCs solve it if they pass through town? Maybe win some fortune or favor? Yep, there you go. There's a plague. Well, zombies too. If you look here, in the Central Plains, Lady Atara, the undead are stirring in cemeteries. Now let's populate the region with a majority race and a minority race. Darkwolf says, got a new made RPG pick up on Discord. All right, I'll fill in the races real quick, and I will go right over to it. We're gonna roll 2d10 4 times. I guess I should do it one at a time, because if we get a 10, I don't know. If we get a 10, maybe it's player choice. Hakora, thank you for the auto host. If you're here, if you're in the sound of my voice, thank you very much for that. All right, let's roll it. 7 and 9. 7 and 5. Tin Cat, thank you for the host. 9 and 1. And lastly, 3 and 7. If we go back here, we can now fill in the numbers. Dark Wolf, thank you for that too. 7. Oh, there's half-elves everywhere here. In fact, at this point, like, I don't know, something happened. A lot of half-elves were born, and a half-elf and a half-elf are going to give you a half-elf. All right, if we do pundit squares, I guess there's a chance. 50% of the time it'll be a half-elf, 25 elf, 25 human. Let's not worry about that. Thank you if you do so, Tin Cat. Majority are half-elves. The minority are tieflings. The majority are half-elf. The minority are humans. Humans and tieflings. We have a neighboring empire ran by humans and tieflings. Yet here they're the minority. Maybe they've fled. Aha, in the Central Plains, however, tieflings are the majority race. And there are some dwarves in the minority. Well then, maybe those are the dwarves that fled when the empire settled in their lands and took over their fortresses and their mountain strongholds and such. Maybe these tieflings are sent to watch after them. Make sure that they don't rise up in revolt. And in the Untamed East, we have 3, which are halflings, and 7, which are half-elves. There are many halflings inside of Mesotopia. Lacuna and the Fallfire Plains. Now, if we really want, we can go into, well, of these, you know, we get a majority, or they're, you know, a majority are Lightfoot and the minority are Stout, something along those lines. We can go through and do things that way. We'll go back to our dice roller. And for the dwarves, let's roll odds or evens. Well, all right, I forgot to change it from that, but we got to roll twice anyway, so we'll go with what we have. The first result was a 3. And if we look, the odds, all right, so they are mountain dwarves are the majority. And the minority are hill dwarves, between the two. And for halflings, it was 6, which are evens, And we have Lightfoot are the majority, and that would leave the Stout as the minority. And you know this works very well because even in the PHB it suggests that Stout halflings might be cousins to dwarves. Here we go. We have now populated a wild outland campaign setting for our players to go and harass the invading forces. Maybe to set up traps. Maybe to tackle individual strike units, whether they go by land or sea. Whether they take the scenic route or they would take the direct route. We have now populated a map with so many interesting things. That would be interesting, Dark Wolf. Yeah, if they don't get along, what's going to happen? So hopefully this exercise, we'll employ it when we go through the campaign, and we'll further extract information from this. For right now and for what we're doing tonight, hopefully this made sense. Hopefully you were able to follow along. Did this inspire you? Did it get you thinking? Was it a challenge? You're like, well, shoot, how do we have a religious leader, but they worship all gods are banned. They're known for education, but everyone lives in harmony. Something's going along. Oh, hey, Mola Molkua. Did I pronounce that correctly? Mola Molkua. Thank you for coming along the journey with us. I appreciate the follow. If you've been lurking for a while, you're welcome to do so. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask as well. If you have commentary, are you a longtime D&D or role player? Are you a first-timer? Is this your first time engaging in something like this? You don't have to be ashamed to speak up or ask questions, experienced or not. Hopefully, though, this really got you thinking that here, through pure random dice rolls, we have now populated this map. We've brought life to it. It's making sense. There's odd things happening. Maybe there are broad caves going from the sea. And this is so it's like almost a tar pit or an oil, right? Because that's decomposing dinosaurs and such. So maybe the tides do carry in dead whales or something all the way inland. You want to talk about a mystery? The people in the plains who are brave enough to climb up through the stinky mountains over here, and then you see these great rib cages and other things like that in this bubbling, like crude oil soup. That's what would they think? Wouldn't that be something? Put yourself in these people's shoes. We just invented, an anti-magic kind of a race, or, these people are so suffused by anti-magic from something that is the dark magic they practice, is actually the ability to negate magic. Offer people to the great so they're sacrificed. Yeah, or you know what? There's the legends that Eskimos will put their elderly on an iceberg and shove it out to sea, and so they'll die at sea. Maybe if they see that as a place of death, they will either they'll sacrifice people, or the elderly of the tribe, so they don't slow everyone else down, will kind of go. And by the way, hi Upos. Buddha, lady, they get along too well. Almost Lannister-like. I see what you did there. And I'm glad that you learned a lot, Mola Molkua. Are you a first-timer? Or are you new to D&D? My friends and I played D&D for the first time last month. I DM'd and I just put something small together. Well, this is the channel for you, Mola. I hope that you will continue to get tips and tricks. I'm sure every broadcaster will say this, but I would urge you, look at the VODs. Look at the history of the channel. And barring that, you can also join our Discord if you want live help on building things. You have rules questions. Maybe you don't know how to get into character. You want advice, tips, or tricks. Please join us on Discord. As well, if you want to see us do specific things in past broadcasts, not an entire 4, 6, 8 hour broadcast. If you want to see specific chunks of building characters, making maps, putting campaigns together, that sort of a thing, please make sure to join us on YouTube as well. And if you do join Discord, I would ask that your Discord name sync up to your Twitch handle. Also, speaking of Discord, Darkwolf said that there was a surprise for us oh, yep, here we go. So this is the master in her maid RPG game, Demon Queen Amaya. Oh, wow. Are these like bloody claws or something? Like, did she just murder someone? did she get summoned and just murk the summoner? This is really cool, though. And yes, by the way, for Mola Molkua, anyone else who's watching, lurking, we can talk about more than just D&D. We're primarily focused on that. But as you can see, some of our players, by meeting through Discord and arranging games, they played Maid RPG and others. You have a lot of World of Darkness players. You like Vampire, Mage, Werewolf, that sort of a thing. A lot of blood was involved, got it. And this is the master that all of you as maids serve? Ooh, I hope you don't get on her bad side. She's already romantically attached to 2 PCs. King says at Mola Mulkua, tell us what you ran and how it went, or if you're nervous, we can tell you of our games. King is absolutely correct. I should put down some timestamps when I go into my podium so I can clip advice. Or make Darkwolf clip it. That does remind me, if any of you do make clips of what happens here, I would appreciate it if you gave it a title of some kind. Even if it's like, oh, Matt's on a soapbox again. She's nicer than she appears? Oh. Alright, well, I mean, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, King made a very good offer, Mola. And there's a lot of us from all different parts of the world, all different levels of education, experience in role-playing, the things that we do for a living, the families that we have. We come from all walks of life. So you might get a couple different opinions, and now that means instead of just listening to one guy's opinion, you might get several, and you have a buffet to choose from for how you want to run your game. All right, I'm going to get up, and I'm going to take another break. Thank you for being a part of this map building section, and I hope this got your... I hope this got your neurons firing. It was a lot of fun to do and to think and conceptualize. Yeah, there we go. 100% true good. Like that. I'll actually watch that. I'll watch that here in a bit. The horns and the tail and everything. Yeah, anytime I make a Dragonborn character, Mola Mulkua, I apparently grow horns and I become 100% true good. Which, by the way, Mola, if you fancy yourself as being a very good and righteous person, to the point that nobody else can ever be as such and should probably be destroyed, you belong in the 100% true good alignment. And we have a couple followers. The true good family is a thing here, okay? All right, I'm gonna take 5 or 10 minutes. I'll be right back.